Good morning from a wonderful spring-ish day in Warrington. I'm up, it's about, I think, 8 o'clock, we're out and about, and I'm heading into Manchester today. I'm going to get some food, have a couple of beers of course, and we're going to go watch some football. Now, I know before I say it, everyone's going to say this place has been vlogged to death. You know, all the main football vloggers have done it, but you know what? I've never watched Salford City before. And I looked at the fixtures, I had a free weekend and I thought, you know what, I'm going to get on the train, I'm going to head into Manchester and I'm going to watch Salford, tick that ground off and see what it's all about around there. So today, Salford, they're playing Crewe Alexandra at Moor Lane at the Peninsula Stadium. Like I said, we're going to head into Manchester now, get the train, we're going to get some food and then we're going to go to the game. So come on, let's go watch some football. Just walking to the station now. And I'm armed with, well, I'll say information, I won't say facts, because this is stuff that I gathered off Wikipedia, so I don't know how accurate it is. But one of the things that I think jumped out at me from first kind of investigation was Salford's nickname, the Ammies. Very unusual nickname, and I don't think one that I think I've heard in kind of football before. So originally Salford were known as Salford Amateurs. Hence where the Ammies comes from, I guess, before they renamed to Salford City. The Crewe, of course, the Alex, or the Railwaymen. Crewe, of course, I guess, a bit of a team that I've had an affiliation with over the years. Northwich have kind of had players from them and done very well for us. And obviously they're a Cheshire club, so I've always kept an eye out for them. It's going to be an interesting game today as well, I think. Looking forward to it. It's a nice day for it. Let's get to the station. I'm already a bit out of breath, actually. Goodness, it's not a great start, is it? Let's get to the station and get into Manchester. Come on. So I'm at the station here, just waiting for the train, got about 10 minutes to pass. What exactly is it that we're watching today? So it's League 2, Salford City versus Crewe Alexandra, as I said. Crewe are in 7th, which is about par for Crewe. They usually make it to the playoffs. I think they lost at the playoff final for League 2 last year, disappointingly. Salford are in 11th. Salford had a bit of a rise through the leagues quite quickly, and then it's kind of petered off a little bit. They've struggled at League 2 level. I think they usually finish about top 8, something like that. Don't quite make the playoffs or lose in the playoff semi-finals and stuff like that. Interestingly, as I was looking into this game, the Salford City Instagram page posted some stats about their history with Crewe, and it's quite strange, but it's also quite logical in the same way. So Crewe and Salford, or Salford and Crewe, have only actually played each other 7 times in the history of the two clubs, which I thought was a little bit strange because it's just like the two clubs that have been around a long time. But then when you think about it, Salford have been in Northwest Counties, they've been in the Northern Premier League, probably while Crewe have been in the Championship, League 1, League 2. They've always been a Football League team. So they've always probably been about 5 or 6 divisions apart, which kind of makes sense when you think about it. The other interesting thing that I thought was strange was, out of the 7 times that Salford and Crewe have played, there's been 25 goals in 7 games. That's 3.5 goals per game. So I'm hoping today we're not going to see a bloody 0-0 and there's going to be plenty of goals. Out of that 7, by the way, Salford won 4, Crewe won 2, 1 draw. So I think we're going to have a result today. What do you reckon? Who's going to win? Put something in the comments below about what your thoughts are. Crewe in 7th, Salford in 11th. I don't know, it's got score draw written all over it for me. Let's see. Anyway, I'm getting into Manchester. I'm absolutely desperate for some food. Come on, let's get going. Train will be here shortly. Here we go. Let's get into Manchester. I have arrived in Manchester, currently at Manchester Piccadilly train station. I am desperate for some food, so I've researched a few places to go and get a decent full English breakfast. I just cannot stomach any more Wetherspoons breakfast. Let's try and find something decent. Now, everywhere said they get really busy. It's Saturday morning in Manchester, and it's only about 9:15, so I don't think it'll be too busy yet. Let's get out there, let's see what we can find. And I've got something interesting to show you on the way, actually. Come on, let's keep going. Nah, not today, Wetherspoons. Not today. Here we go, we're here. And it's not that busy either. I'm going to get inside and get something ordered. Come on, coffee pot, you better deliver. Well, that's breakfast done at the Coffee Pot. I read up online and it said that this was the best full English breakfast in Manchester. Well, you can judge for yourself. We're not here to review breakfasts. That's not what this is about. It's part of the day. It came to £18.15 for that breakfast and 2 cups of tea. It didn't feel like great value to me, and it didn't feel like a great breakfast either. Sorry, Coffee Pot. It's a no from me. I could have gone to Wetherspoons and exactly the same thing for half the price. We live and let live. Okay, let's move on. So I'm not going to claim the credit for this one. The amount of times that I must have walked past that sign and that building and didn't even realise that the Football League was founded on that site. Huge credit goes to Footy Adventures. If you don't watch him on YouTube, it's a great channel, and it's I guess a little bit like what I'm kind of aiming to do, which is no sensationalism, no clickbait, just telling stories about football clubs and going to match days and stuff like that in a kind of, I guess, a more mature manner. And I watched his video yesterday, and he was visiting all the founder members of the Football League in over the course of a couple of days, and he came there. That is the location, the Royal Hotel, where the concept of I guess having a football league where teams routinely play each other was discussed and agreed. So, you know, the chairman and owners at the time from Aston Villa, Bolton, Wolverhampton Wanderers, Everton, I can't remember the rest of them, there's 12, met there and agreed to form a football league because what was happening before was an amateur setup whereby they were saying, they were writing to each other and saying, I'll play your team this weekend. Then sometimes they wouldn't turn up or it would get cancelled. And the chairman of Aston Villa said, right, we've got to formalise this and we've got to structure it properly. And that is where they met to discuss it. Interestingly, they didn't invite any teams from the south because the southern teams, such as Arsenal, the teams like that, they weren't Arsenal at the time, of course, they didn't want to join it. They believed that football should be kept amateur. So a historical site there that I must have walked past a million times over the years, thanks to Footy Adventures, and now know about it. Hopefully can share it with you as well. Subscribe to his channel, by the way. I'll put a link in the description. He's fantastic. I absolutely love the guy, and it's really informative about football and stuff, so well worth watching. Anyway, bit of history. We're about, I think we're about 10:30. Is it too early for the pub? Yeah, I think it is. Let's have a little wander around, maybe get another cup of tea, try and buy a bit of time, and then we'll go to the pub about 12ish, I think. Now this is where I was gonna go for my breakfast. Hot Kettle Black. We'll go there next time, not to worry. But actually, whilst we're at it, I was reading about Salford, and I guess I thought everybody knew that Salford City were owned by the class of '92, etc., or at least certainly part of them. I think it's Beckham, Gary Neville, Phil Neville, Nicky Butt, Paul Scholes, and Ryan Giggs. Will come on to the Giggs family later. A lot to be said about that. And I thought, interestingly, when they bought Salford originally played in similar colours and kits to Blackpool. They played in tangerine with white shorts. And the class of '92 decided to change Salford's colours to red shirt, black shorts, or red shirt and white shorts, and a black away kit, which is eerily like Man United colours. Now, I thought, that's not really the done thing, is it? But I don't remember any hoo-ha happening about that at the time. And obviously Gary Neville is all about, you know, protecting the history of clubs and culture and all that type of stuff, right? But yet, he didn't seem to bat an eyelid when he did it for his own team. He's a guy of contradictions, that Gary Neville, isn't he? I thought that was interesting. Anyway, let's go and see if we can find a quick cup of tea, maybe. Yeah, that's definitely the place I should have gone for breakfast. As an old mate of mine used to say, if there's a queue outside a restaurant, it's one of two things. It's either very good or very cheap. And yeah, that's where I should have gone. Ah well, next time. Yeah, that started the day off nicely. Just having a quick pint in the Moon Underwater on Deansgate. Quick shipyard. Not giving it me in the right glass, but yeah, we'll get on with it, right. And I mentioned earlier when we were talking that we were going to talk a little bit about the Giggs family and their involvement at Salford. Obviously Ryan Giggs is one of the co-owners, and I noticed when I was watching them on TV a couple of months or so ago that he was kind of on the bench and stuff. So I had a look into what exactly his role was, and I sort of read various articles saying that he was helping out and that he was involved. I saw various articles saying he was assistant manager. I saw various articles saying he was a coach. Now, as we know, Ryan Giggs has a bit of a checkered history, and I wonder if, being media savvy, as Gary Neville is, that they've kind of avoided making Ryan Giggs anything official at the club in case there's some kind of backlash or outcry about it. But I guess I couldn't really find out what his role was. So I guess we'll see if he's there today and he's on the bench. We'll have a look out for him. The other interesting thing that I thought was relevant, also was reading Salford City's Wikipedia page, was Rodri Giggs also played for Salford City. In 2009, he was their Player of the Year. Later, he went on to manage Salford City. So we've had Rodri Giggs playing for, being their Player of the Year, and managing Salford City. Now Ryan Giggs owns Salford City and is somehow involved with the coaching. I wonder what that atmosphere is like at the festive dinner table with the Giggs family now. I'd love to be a fly on the wall. Brilliant. That was interesting then. Actually, some Austrian lads that are here for the weekend are actually here watching United tomorrow. Was asking me what I was doing. I just explained what I was doing for the day and stuff. And they said, well, what are you talking about in relation to Ryan Giggs? If you don't know the story, multiple stories around Ryan Giggs. Google it. I'm not going into it here, but look it up. But it occurred to me that I know the story and there's people out there, many people, that actually don't. So look it up. It's quite interesting. Okay, I think we're just about all out on Salford stats, facts and information. But we've got a little bit more to come off the trusty sheet of paper about Crewe Alex, and I want to start with a special one, an important one, and one that's personal to me actually. So I don't know whether this is still the case. I know it was for a very, very long time, and Wikipedia said it still is. So Crewe's youngest ever player at 16 years and 19 days old is Steve Walters. Now, Steve Walters is somebody who personally is very important to me because he had a few problems at Crewe, let's put it that way. Again, you can Google it, you can have a look at what went on in the Crewe Alexandra Academy and stuff like that. When Steve Walters was released by Crewe, he came to a club called Northwich Victoria, a team I later grew to support. But the strange story, or strange element about that story, is that he actually worked with my mum part-time. So he was only a kid when he was at Crewe, and he worked part-time with my mum. And he was telling my mum that he's a footballer. He's a semi-professional footballer, and he plays for this team in Northwich. She then said, "Oh, my son likes football, we live in Northwich." So then, 30 years ago, almost to the day, in fact it's not almost to the day, it's later in the year, and I will mark the day with a special occasion, I watched my first game, which was Northwich Victoria versus Hendersford Town, and Steve Walters got me free tickets to watch Northwich Victoria. He was a phenomenal player, my favourite player at the time. Obviously I told everybody, all and sundry, that I knew Steve Walters. You know, it was cool as hell. I was 11 years old or something like that, and Steve Walters was a phenomenal player. He's gone through some difficult times. He's opened up about what happened at the Crewe Alex Academy and stuff like that. I hugely respect him. Don't want to get into it in this video, but Crewe's youngest ever player, Steve Walters, one of my all-time favourite heroes. Now, in terms of famous former players, the story between Salford and Crewe Alexandra is very different. Salford, it's all about who was famous and then went to play for Salford at the end of their career. Crewe, it's all about who started at Crewe and went on to be hugely successful in terms of their career. Obviously, we all know about the class of 92's involvement at Salford. I did also notice Chris Casper, director of football there, and Alex Bruce is on the coaching team as well, son of Steve Bruce. He was helping out at Macclesfield. I think he was assistant at Macclesfield for one stage before kind of Robbie Savage got his claws in there. I also noticed, strangely, that Callum Hendry was playing for Salford, and actually I'm just looking here, he scored 21 goals in 66 appearances for Salford across 2 seasons. Now I assume he's a centre-half. That's like a 1 in 3 goal scoring ratio, which is pretty bloody good for a centre-half. Is he a centre-forward? I did a bit of cursory Wikipediaing and looking into him, couldn't find out. Who knows? In terms of Crewe, where do we start? We've got Neil Lennon, Robbie Savage, Rob Jones, Dean Ashton, Seth Johnson. What else have we got on the list here? Danny Murphy, how could I forget him? David Platt, God, blimey, how could I forget him as well? So they all started at Crewe. So they were all part of the Crewe Alexandra Catch 'em Young programme. Now what that really meant, you can decide for yourself. But also, I think the one that jumped out for me was Bruce Grobbelaar played for Crewe before he played for Liverpool. That's one I didn't know. Thought I'd share that one with you. So very different, I guess, ends of the spectrum for Salford and Crewe in terms of famous former players. Anyway, right. I was going to get a bus, but ended up having an extra pint in the pub, so I'm going to order an Uber and get to the ground. Let's go. Come on. We'll have a little look at the team shortly. Salford are very active on social media, as I'm sure you can imagine. Gary Neville's probably driving that Crewe a little bit less so. There's four names actually, that I recognised in the Salford squad. One of which was, well, three of which were former Everton players. One was Lewis Warrington, I remember from the Everton youth. One was Luke Garbett as well, who I thought was going to be a really, really good player. I think he won like an England under-18 or under-21 tournament at some stage. I thought he was really going to press on. Left back, good player, not quite hit the heights. And Okoronkwo, Francis Okoronkwo, who I recognised from Everton as well. The other name that I recognised was Ben Woodburn. I remember him breaking into the Liverpool team. I think he's a Welsh international as well. So there's a few names there that I recognise from Salford at least. We'll have a look at the Crewe team and Crewe squad shortly. Let's see what else we can find out. Just walking along to the ground now. Now, a mate of mine's just messaged me, who's also a Crewe fan. He reckons there's quite a big following expected today. Apparently they've sold out their away allocation of around 1,000 tickets, which is pretty decent. In terms of looking at their squad, the only name I recognised was Omar Bogle. I don't really know where I know him from. I just kind of know him. It's quite a distinctive name, I suppose, isn't it? What's he said to me? He said that the star striker Shiloh Tracy broke his leg midweek, and long throw specialist and captain Mickey Demetriou is injured. Now, one of the things my mate did say is that, contrary to popular belief about Crewe being like the ultimate footballing team, which was very much the way it was when Dario Gradi was managing them, again, look into that individual on Google, or maybe I'll put some links in the description. He said, contrary to that, they no longer play like that. They're actually very, very direct now. So it's going to be interesting to see how Crewe play today. Of course, if you've got someone with a long throw, you've got that asset, why not use it? He also said they've got a good Slovakian lad who plays in midfield. Let's see how he turns out as well. We'll have a look at the team shortly. We'll check social media. This has been a wonderful day to exemplify what it is to be British. I came in on the train this morning and I saw people fishing at 7:30 in the morning, having cans of lager by the canal. Look at this here. Somebody, I wish you could smell this actually, it smells fantastic. Somebody is having a barbecue. It must be the first nice day that we've had of summer. The most British thing to do ever. Someone is having a barbecue and it's about 12 degrees or something like that. People walking around in shorts, all sorts of stuff. It's great to see, it really is. Not quite there, are we? Just lacking one L. It wouldn't surprise me if Gary Neville did own this court, actually. Anyway, let's get inside. We are here. We have arrived at the Peninsula Stadium. Let's get into the ground. Surely we can sneak one more beer in. Let's have a little look around as well. Salford v Crewe, here we go. Lovely, thank you very much. And in we go. So, last time when I went to Northern Ireland, the bit of feedback that I got was that it was all, great and whatever, within the confines, I guess, of my ability to edit and film and the fact that I'm not a creative type of chap. One of the things they did say was how much was the tickets, which I meant to mention in the films and just never got round to. So the ticket today is £22, which I think is very reasonable. Right, I'm in the ground now, just grabbed myself a Guinness, about 40 minutes to kick off. Just got a notification that the teams are out. Let's have a look what we've got to work with today. Is that, yeah, there we are in focus. So what have we got? Who do we recognise there? Ben Woodburn starts, Garbett starts, Okoronkwo starts, Warrington on the bench. Those are the names that I recognise. Let's have a look what Crewe have put out. There's the Crewe team. Only name I recognise is Omar Bogle. I assume Holicek is the Czech lad that my mate mentioned to me to keep an eye on. Apparently he's quite a good player, central midfielder. Other than that, I assume with this Crewe team it's usually just kids. let's see anyway. This could be an interesting one. Just got access to a team sheet here. Whilst we've already had a look at the teams, I thought it was worth touching on the managers actually. Let's have a look what we've got. So Carl Robinson for Salford City. I don't know whether he's a Scouser for a start, so obviously he's over in Manchester. It's going to be a bit of edge about that. I remember him at Milton Keynes, Oxford and stuff. We go across to Crewe, Lee Bell, legend of the club, local lad. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm going to get into the ground shortly and then get things going. But there's your teams, ladies and gents.
Number 17, Mattis Holicek. Number 23, Jack Powell. Number 25, Max Conway. Number 26, Conor O'Riordan. Number 28, Lewis Billington. Number 29, Adrian Thibault. Number 30, Tom.
Strange because he didn't check with either keeper whether they were ready then. Anyway, we're underway. Usually my trigger point to start recording is when he waves to one keeper. But okay, there we go. Oh! That's as close as Crewe have come, to be honest. Out there. I missed the start of the second half trying to go to the toilet and get a quick drink, but anyway, away we go. We're underway, still 0-0. He scored, and it's that guy, Kelly Demai. He said he hadn't offered much, but he cut in from the left hand side on his right foot, took it past the keeper. Kelly Demai, he's your man. He won't let you down. Crewe are going to have to come out and play a little bit now, I think. There's the score. Salford 1-up. And I have to say, I think it's deserved. The only ones that have tried to play the game, the only team that have tried to win the game, deserved. Substitutions. I think that's the first. I think it's the first time I've ever seen 4 players come on at once. Okay, that's number 2. There he goes. Okay, here comes number 3. They're taking the bloody time. Now where's number 4? Okay, here comes number 4. That's got to be the first time I think I've ever seen that. 30 years of watching football, 4 subs in one go. Loads of space. Can he? Crewe going to go for their specialist move of the long throw here, I think. And why not if you've got that in your arsenal? I'm not snobbery about using techniques like this, but why not? Surprised they didn't put that big centre back in for that long throw. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Not gone out. Hello. Nothing silly here, nothing silly. Of course you can, mate. Well, that's it. Full time. Salford 1, Crewe 1. Salford were the better team, scored a good goal in the second half, through local lad Kelly Namai. You understand he's a lad who's come through one of the first lads who's kind of come through the Salford youth production system. That's why everybody's kind of getting behind him. Crewe knew what they were doing. They were time wasting all the way through. They were here for a draw and they got it. So for Crewe, the big lad at the back, O'Riordan, was by far and away the man of the match. He cleaned up everything at the back. I understand he's only 20 years old as well. Keep an eye out for him. And he stepped through midfield, took the ball at the back, stepped through midfield, and he absolutely leathered it in from about 40 yards out. It whistled into the top corner. Great goal. The natives sat in front of me in the stands, were not particularly happy that I jumped up. Not that I was celebrating the goal, it was just a good goal, it was a screamer. So, anyway, I think everybody else has 1-1. Salford fans had a few gripes with the referee and stuff like that. It was just handbags at the end. Salford probably just about deserved to win it, but didn't. 1-1 probably the right result. So I'm going to get a cab back into the city now, get a couple more beers, watch the 5:30 kick-off, then head back home. So from this vlog until the next time, and we've got it scheduled and we're ready and we're away from home, I'll see you on the next one. Take care.